pasan días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and he hasn't said anything. Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the best sacrifice for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! Porque la Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.
Good evening. Volume a little bit higher. How's everybody doing? There you go. Let's see right here. How's everybody doing? I'm Oscar Blue for Border Network News and America's Voice News. God bless everybody that is watching. God bless our country of Mexico, our city of Tijuana, and God bless the United States of America. Let's thank God for giving us 2 legs, 2 arms, a mind that we can think, a heart that we can feel, and eyes that we can see. Welcome, everybody that is watching. I'm live at YouTube also. I'm live at both platforms, YouTube and Facebook. As I was saying in the morning that I was going to go live in the evening, and I am live in the evening. Wow, man. You guys, it's unbelievable what I am about to play for you guys. As we visited the migrant camp right here in our city of Tijuana. We visited the migrant camp. We walked around. We saw how the migrant camp has grown so much. And we saw a lot of necessity. But we saw a lot of different stuff, a lot of different situations which are happening around the migrant camp. And as we were walking around it, because they put like some kind of a barricade to not enter, we walk around from the east to the part of the west of the camp. And we saw one thing that it was kind of reminding me of 2018. That is the activists from the United States of America working in our country of Mexico without a permit, coming back and forth with COVID restrictions, non-essentially, and nobody reassuring of these people. A lot of our governmental officials in our city of Tijuana are tired. The people around the migrant camp, they're tired. The local business owners around the migrant camp, they're exhausted. They cannot make rent. They don't have, and they're not profiting out of their business to bring home food to the table to their families. It is that migrant camp has turned into a charade for everybody from outside that is coming to see. But the reality that is going inside, it is a total catastrophe. As we entered the migrant camp, our whole mission is not to go to interrogate or ask the migrants, because we know that they're going to say, nothing's going on here, everything's okay, and we're good. Our whole point, as I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, is to do interviews with the people that they live right there in the migrant camp. Tijuana citizens that they actually see, smell, feel, think, everything they have seen of this migrant camp, and how this migrant camp has turned into something that you guys, after this interview, are going to be completely amazed on how the leftist activists from the United States of America have taken control of that migrant camp with a nonprofit organization of lawyers, that they are controlling that migrant camp. United States citizens controlling a property of Mexico, and under the wing of the humanitarian rights that you cannot do, you cannot say, you cannot touch no migrant. It does not matter the consequence, or it does not matter the repercussion of what they're doing. It is unbelievable what you guys are going to hear. Let me put an image so I can tell you where were we as we walked around and we talked to one of the neighbors. That is exclusive, important interview, as this interview has been asked by a lot of mainstream media to put it on their mainstream media platform. It is amazing what you are going to hear. This man lives in front of the migrant camp, steps away in front, not a block, not half a block. Just open the gate and you see a tent. He lives in front of the camp like this. He lives with his mother. It's an elderly woman in her almost 80s, as he is afraid for his life, for his mother's life, and also for the neighbors. He is completely afraid and shocked that the government of Mexico has not done anything to remove this migrant camp or to control the violence, the delinquents, and ultimately the irregular activities that they are happening inside the migrant camp. We went there and we did this interview. Show you an image on how close we were. This is the roof of the house of this community. As you can see on this image, it has grown so much. The taxi drivers right there, where you see a black tent in the middle, that was the route of the taxi drivers. And that route has completely disappeared, as the taxi drivers do not have a space for their service, for their work, and do not have a space for anything. Let me remind you that in this migrant camp during the week, they have kicked out, pushing, not telling them exit, pushing them in a really aggressive manner, more than 70, 80 people, pushing governmental officials, also reporters, also the leader of the humanitarian rights. They have kicked them out. And all of this is by the indoctrination that they are receiving by leftist activists, that they are involved in this migrant camp. This has to stop. And our Mexican people need to understand, and the Tijuana citizens need to understand, that law and order needs to be applied into this particular place. This is Mario. Mario lives across the street. He is in his mid-40s.
The encampment. Tell us
and almost
what it's like to live here.
And almost in his 50s. This interview, listen to what he says. As we are going to translate, the volume, it is kind of low. And it is kind of low because he was, in a way, nervous, but in the other way, he was full with anger. He is extremely upset of all of the things that have happened to his house, to his neighbor house, to his family members, and ultimately to his community. His community, as his words describes, his community has been completely destroyed in front of his eyes. All his life has lived in that particular part. And now they don't have a life because they don't have no rights. Mexicans, no rights in their own territory. Listen to this. Our colleague was asking a question. How does he feel to live in this community? Just for everybody to know, the live feed is monitored. As you use explicit language, you will be corrected. The first question, how do you feel to live right now in this community?
Usted vive aquí enfrente del campamento. Que si le puede decir usted qué se siente vivir en estos momentos aquí.
Diario es lo mismo. Diario es lo mismo.
Every day is the same.
Día y noche.
How do you feel to live right here? Every day is the same.
Day and night.
Day and night.
Viernes, sábado y domingo.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Están ahí, aquí se sientan aquí en la banqueta.
They sit right here on the sidewalk, in front of my sidewalk.
Sit right here on the sidewalk.
¿Cómo le llaman ese ice?
Smoking ice. These packages of ice, drugs.
Bolsas de ice.
This ice bags.
Packages of ice bags.
And they drug themselves. They smoke.
They drug themselves in front. Yes, there is sound. It is low, and this is the only way that we're going to do this. It is low, and I'm translating. It is low. So, I'm sorry. This is the only way.
Crack in front of the.
He's saying that they smoke crack in front of his house.
In front of the sidewalk.
En la caseta que está allá.
The police station that is on the left side.
The police station that is on the right side.
They get together 20 or.
In that police station, they get together like 15 or 20 of them inside the police station.
30 people right there on the police station. Sometimes I go over there and I take photos.
Sometimes I go over there and I take photos.
When there was a reporter here that I know him.
When there was a reporter here that I know him.
He's from Channel 33 of Mexico.
He's from a particular channel in Mexico. He said, but he didn't say on TV what I was saying to him, the reality of what I was saying to him. It must be the leftist media in our country.
But he didn't say what reality was happening right here.
The only thing that this journalist didn't like is the two words that I used to him.
The thing that he didn't like, the reporter, is the two words that I told him. ¿Qué le dijo?
Can I say to the camera, and for me, I just asked my colleague, he says that if he can use a bad word to the camera. And I said, go ahead. And he said, for me, those people are trash. They're pieces of trash.
For me, those people, can I say that to the camera? And I said, yes. And for me, those people are pieces of BS and trash. And that is when the reporter cut me off. Right there in the plaza.
Right there in the plaza. There are MS people from the Mara Salvatrucha. In front of the camp, there's a plaza. And he's saying right there in the plaza, there are people from the MS-13.
So a lot of MS-18s.
A lot of MS-13s.
They get drunk.
They get drunk. They get drunk. They drug themselves.
Drunk. They do drugs.
They hit on the women. They hit on the women when they don't have when they don't want to have sexual relations with them.
They hit the women when they don't want to have sex with them.
los obligan.
They obligating them.
They obligating them.
Y como pues, ya le había comentado que hay muchos, ¿cómo se llama? Bueno, ¿cómo por decirlo? Gays.
And like I've been saying, there's a lot of people homosexual also that they're coming.
There's a lot of gay people.
Se meten allá adentro.
They go inside the camp
Están solos.
when they're alone.
They go inside the camp, and when they're alone, I'm translating because I don't know if you guys can hear or not. That is why I'm translating, because I don't know if you can hear or not.
Los que están en el baño van para allá, o cuando están bañando van para allá, o cuando están solos tratan de meterse adentro.
So when they're alone, they have bathrooms.
So when they're alone, they go in the bathrooms and they do their sexual services.
You know, people go inside the bathrooms and they do services.
Eso fue como menos de una semana.
That was like around a week ago.
That was like around a week ago.
Aquí cuando estaba la caravana pasada,
When the last caravan that was right here,
When the last caravan that it was right here,
estaban intentando de abrir la puerta.
they were trying to open the door.
they were trying to open my door.
Un bastón de esos largos.
They took a long piece of metal.
I took like a security piece of metal, a long piece of tube, a piece of metal,
Eso usan los policías.
the ones that the cop use.
Le di dos, y mi amigo sacó un bloque de esos grandes a los traía
We defended ourselves. One friend of mine
We defended ourselves. One friend of mine,
dropped a block in his back.
my friend of mine, dropped a cement block on his back because he tried to enter our house,
And we were defending our home.
and we were defending our home.
That was right here.
Yes. Eso era aquí? Yes.
Me dice, ¿qué quieres tú, hijo de tu-?"
Then my colleague was asking, was that right here? And then he says, yes, that was right here.
Sí, saqué el bastón, un bastoncito así.
They said, "What do you want over here? It's my property." And
He said, what do you want over here? He told the migrant, it is my property.
he pulled up a piece of metal to defend himself.
And he pulled out a tube of metal to defend himself.
Policía ahí, me dice, me dice el policía, "Pártele su madre", me dice.
The police guy was there, and the police guy said, "I cannot
And the police guy was there, and the police guy said, I cannot do anything. Defend yourself.
do anything, but you take him out."
Me dice, ponle una madriza. Qué bueno que me lo dices. Ahí le dieron de ladrillazos con la varilla, le echamos la piedra, lo pateamos hasta en el piso.
He said, kick him, do whatever you want.
The policeman said, defend yourself. Kick him. Hit him. Try to defend yourself. I cannot do anything.
So they can learn their lesson.
So they can learn their lesson.
Hang on. The police said he couldn't do anything about it, but he said that they could as private citizens.
So my colleague is asking, so let me get this straight. So the police told him they cannot do anything about it, but he can do something as a private citizen?
Dice, permítame un momento. Entonces está diciendo que el policía le dijo que usted hiciera algo al respecto porque él no puede hacer nada al respecto para detener.
Yo cuando le estaba pegando, me dice, "Ay, pártele su madre", me dice.
When he was hitting him,
The cop told him, when he was defending himself, the cop said, he tried to enter your property, kick his butt. That is what the cop said.
when he was hitting the individual that it was trying to get into his property, the policeman said, kick him, defend yourself.
So he said the MS-18 guys, are they a part of the caravan, or are they here as criminals, like infiltrating the caravan?
My colleague asked, so this MS-13 guys, are they a part of the caravan, or this just infiltrated people that they are living on this particular camp?
Estos individuos de la Mara Salvatrucha son parte de la caravana o son parte que son infiltrados aquí de la
Bueno,
caravana.
algunos de ahí sí vienen para que les den ayuda.
Some of them that they're right there, yes. Some of them they're coming because they want help.
Some of them they come just for help.
Y algunos pues que están huyendo por diferentes problemas, andan huyendo que
Some of them are running away from different problems.
han matado gente.
Some of them they have killed people.
They are running away because they have killed people in their country.
Kill people in their country.
They're searching for them.
They're searching for them.
Buscando.
Or the police police is searching for them.
Ya han llegado más.
or the police is searching for them.
There have been more right there.
There's more of them right there. More of the Mara Salvatruchas, MS-13s right there.
Pues cuando se ponen borrachos, cuando no quieren tener sexo con las mujeres, dice que
So when they get drunk and they don't want to have sex with the women,
no, pues nosotros mochamos cabezas.
They,
Hacemos y deshacemos y aquí no nos pueden tocar.
they say that
he says that he has heard that when the MS-13s tell the women, if you don't want to have sex with me, we will cut your heads. This is our ground. This is our land. We dominate this place.
when we want to have sex with the ladies in intercourse, if they don't have intercourse with us, we are going to cut their heads. We own this land. We are the ones that we run this land. So we will cut their heads if they don't have sexual relations with us.
No, pues cuando estaban aquí los chamaquitos de 12, 13 años, mano, chingaderas.
You know, when
Kids right here in the front of the house, kids right here in front of the house, they're smoking crack. They're doing drugs in front of the house. 12, 13-year-olds.
12, 13 years old, smoking crack right here in the middle of the street.
El foco ese medidor de luz que tenemos, lo quebraron.
The light,
The electricity meter that we have outside right here at the house, they cracked it. They damaged it. They vandalized it.
the light meter that we have, the electricity meter outside, they broke it.
Y ya pues cuando los más grandecitos que tienen como 16, 17, 18 años, se andan poniendo bien locos y drogados, ahora andan
Now the other ones, the 16, 17-year-olds, they get drugged up also. They use a lot of drugs. 16, 17-year-olds.
asaltando aquí a la casa.
The
Se
ones
And they're assaulting people around the neighborhood.
that they are a little bit older, 16, 17 years old. 16, 17 years old. They are always using drugs and they're assaulting people right here in the neighborhood. Un poquito más alto.
So now we've heard that they've kicked out certain media. They only allow certain media in, and that it's the activists, that they're American activists that are.
My colleague says, now we know that they have certain media and they have kicked certain media out. And now we know that the activists are the one that they're running this camp.
Actually running this. Can he speak to any of that?
So
Can you speak something about that? And I translate in Spanish the same question.
sabemos que ya quitaron a los medios de comunicación de México y ya no dejan entrar a nadie. Pero lo que tiene él entendido y lo que tenemos entendido que hay activistas americanos aquí que son parte de esto y que los manipulan. ¿Qué me puede decir respecto a eso?
Bueno, por lo que he visto ahí, pues el de la camioneta de la
What I have seen right there is that an American driving a white Mercedes.
What I have seen there, there's a guy as an American with a white Mercedes SUV.
del Mercedes blanco, cada fin de semana, cada viernes llega, empieza a repartir dinero a todos los de
Every Friday he comes. This guy with the white Mercedes, every Friday he comes and he starts spreading money, delivering money, paying people.
adentro.
Oh, every Friday he comes, and every Friday that he comes, he starts spreading money to every single leader inside of the camp.
They pay every single leader of the camp.
Esa de la reportera, cuando estaba tomando fotos ahí en la calle,
There's a scene when this particular American was here. There was a reporter that it was an American and it was taking pictures of the camp.
junto con otro, se le acercaron como que serán unos 80, 90 personas.
And there was like 80 of them in the migrant camp that they immediately rush to this reporters.
When there was a reporter that it was on that particular time, she was taking photos, and there were like 80 or 90 people surrounded her.
Cuando le rodearon el taxi ya estaban a punto de voltear el taxi.
When they arrived to the taxi, they were about to flip the taxi. There was 80 or 70 or 80 of them surrounding the taxi, and they were about to flip the taxi.
And they surrounded the taxi. They're almost going to flip the taxi because she was taking photos.
Pero yo estaba aquí sentado viendo mi película.
And he was sitting
I was sitting right here watching a movie.
Cuando me habló el señor este que está aquí, que
when the neighbor called me.
When the neighbor called me,
estaban sacando empujones a uno de los derechos humanos.
they kicked out, pushing one of the human rights leaders. Imagine this, people. Imagine what this man has seen. He was watching a movie in his house, and immediately his neighbor called him in, like, hey, something is happening inside the migrant camp. And he saw that the leader of the humanitarian rights, the person that they're defending these people, they kicked that person out, pushing him. Amazing, violently.
They were pushing a leader of the humanitarian rights.
From the middle of the part of the camp, not only pushing her, violently pushing her all the way outside the camp.
Not just pushing her, like literally hurting her and pushing her. A person from the humanitarian rights, a leader from the camp, they were pushing her.
Yo a veces me siento aquí o salgo aquí o voy caminando para allá o agarro mi teléfono, nomás me lo pongo aquí.
Sometimes I do, I record. Sometimes I take pictures of the situations because it is just ridiculous. Let me make a pause right here, people. This man has told every authority what is going on, and the authorities know him. Around the camp, they know him. Every, ministerial police or municipal police, they know this guy. But they say, you know what, we can just, the human rights always gets in there, and we cannot do anything.
My phone, and I put my phone on my shirt, and I record some things that are happening.
So he's a local Tijuana resident. These are people coming in.
So my colleague says he's a local Tijuana resident. These are people coming in
illegally into the country.
How
does he feel about that, and how do the locals?
How does he feel about that, and how do the locals feel about that?
Other local Tijuana residents, especially here.
Other local Tijuana citizens, especially here, how do they feel about it?
That have to live with this, feel about it.
They have to live with this situation right now.
Usted es una persona que vive aquí en esta colonia. ¿Cómo se siente usted referente a esta situación y cómo se sienten sus vecinos y la gente de su comunidad aquí?
Voy a hablar sinceramente, si me sale una mala palabra, pues voy a decir. Voy a hablar sinceramente, si se me sale una mala palabra.
I'm going
to speak sincerely. If one bad word comes out, because I'm really upset, I'm sorry, but it's just the only way that I can get my anger out.
But if it's so much anger that if one bad word comes out, I have to say it.
¿Sí lo puede grabar,
Sí.
Qué bueno. Bueno, pues la gente de acá.
That is part one of the interview. Part one of the interview is, this is unbelievable. In this part two, he describes what is his feeling about the actual feeling that how does he feel? Because he says, well, the neighbors are not doing anything about it. I'm trying to do the best that I can. And the neighbors are not doing anything about it. This is part two of the interview. Wow, people. This is just incredible that the authorities in Mexico are not doing anything about it. Not only that, American activists inside of a Mexican territory doing this kind of situation, doing this kind of stuff. And you got leftist organizations defending this kind of situations in the migrant camp. It is absolutely amazing. I don't understand if there's law and order in these kind of situations, but people in Tijuana, local business owners, they are tired of it. This is part two.
La gente de allá está viendo el desmadre que están haciendo aquí.
The neighbors from this side and the neighbors from that side, they're seeing
the neighbors from this side and the neighbors from that side, they're seeing what is going on right here.
The mess that we're going through right now.
Pues aquí enfrente de la casa.
And right here in front of the house.
Aquí, la mera puerta está una señora ahí haciéndose del baño.
And one day I woke up and I opened my door and one person was defecating in front of my door.
There was one time that it was one woman right here in front of the house that it was doing her necessities right here in front of the house.
Pues la otra vez hace como 3 días les trajeron como 22 baños.
The other day, like around I don't know, like around 2 weeks ago, they brought them like 22 portable bathrooms.
Ponerlo de aquí de la entrada hasta la allá de aquel lado.
And they were putting them from here, from the entrance to all the way to half of the block of our community.
And the other day they brought 22 portable bathrooms, which they were putting them from here all the way from the camp all the way to the back of the block.
Pues le dije al pinche policía que estaba aquí, que conozco, que es amigo.
I said to the policeman,
And I said to the policeman that he's a friend of mine.
he's a friend of mine.
Y pues le digo, no, pues la mera verdad, güey, no podemos hacer nada. Le digo, si tú
And the policeman said, to be honest with you, we cannot do anything. The human rights, we want to do. The policemen that I have talked to around the area, there is a lot of them, a lot of policemen that I know around the area. I know a lot of them. And all of them that I have asked them, they feel so incompetent. They feel so angry that they cannot do anything because of this narrative of the human rights, the humanitarian rights, this international laws which apply to our Constitution, which inevitably the government of the United States of America with Joe Biden wants to bring the globalist compact of immigration, that will also ultimately apply to the United States. This is the consequences, people. And this right here on his interview says, I talked to the policeman and I said, and the policeman desperately told me, I cannot do anything about it.
quieres apartarle esa madre, qué bueno que me lo
We
dices.
cannot do anything. The policeman said, if you want to do something, you go ahead and do it. Pero ¿cómo se
If you don't want to do something, it said, I told the policeman, what can I do? And the policeman said and responded to me, if you want to do something about it, but I cannot do anything. So I don't understand what are the authorities doing there in the first hand. What are they doing there? Are they for the protection of the citizens or to just see what is enabling happening in front of their eyes? I don't understand.
sienten los vecinos y ustedes? La opinión. How do the neighbors
So how do the neighbors feel? Your opinion.
Son una bola de agachones, no hacen nada.
Son una bola de agachones. He's mad with his own community. He said, we're not doing anything. They are afraid. You know, everybody's complaining that they're going to do something and they don't do anything.
Nos
We-
juntamos todos.
They
para
are
hacer algo.
cowards because we need to do something and I believe that they're scared.
A la mera hora, no, sí, vamos. Y ahí está.
We got every single one of us. We got together, and in the time that we need to act, everybody backs up.
Mi hermana allá atrás, corriendo todos los
And when it comes to doing something, it's only my mother and me
And when it comes to doing something, it's only my mother and me, my neighbor, and the taxi drivers.
and the cab drivers that we want to do something.
What does he think about? We know there are American activists that are coming down here that are promoting this, that are helping
My colleague says, what do you think about, these American activists that they're coming down here and promoting this?
this. What does he think about Americans coming in and helping support the open borders or
And helping support the open borders
this illegal
¿Qué es su
immigration?
opinión usted acerca de que
About
activistas
this.
americanos vienen y están promoviendo esto y están
What should
ellos
happen to them?
y están ustedes viendo cómo estos activistas norteamericanos vienen a nuestra ciudad y están promoviendo esto y qué piensa usted que se les debe de hacer a esas personas?
And what do you think that the government of Mexico needs to apply to these activists that they are doing this to our city?
No, pues llegan aquí, desde el puente de aquel lado de arriba.
Well, they come over here to the bridge on that particular part. There's a bridge. Underneath the bridge is the camp. So this man is saying they come here on the bridge right here in front of the camp,
Llegan así de lado a lado tirando dinero.
and they come on top of the bridge and they start throwing money to the people. Imagine this. Oh my God. Like, wow. Look at his statements. Look what this man has seen. So he's saying that these activists or these leaders of the camp, they go on top of the bridge and they start throwing money to the people like if they were creatures or something like that. Wow. Amazing.
Están que la gente se ingre más para que estén
Wow.
todos
And it's a strategy for people to stay there and for people to not move. So what they do is they go on top of the bridge and they throw money to them.
They're
amontonados.
saying that they come to the bridge and they throw money from the bridge so people will run and get the money from the bridge, from the top of the bridge.
Le he querido tomar fotos al del Mercedes blanco.
I have wanted to take photos of the guy from the white Mercedes.
Le quería tomar unas fotos, pero
You know, I wanted to know who's this guy from the white Mercedes because he's the one that is providing all the money. This American with the white Mercedes, he's the one that is providing all the money.
el teléfono como no tiene mucho alcance, no tiene muchos píxeles de acercamiento de
But my phone doesn't have that much reach, so I don't want to get into
I wanted to
problems.
take photos, but my phone doesn't have that much quality, so I could not take a good photo. ¿Qué piensa que le debe de pasar a esos activistas? What do you think that those activists?
What do you think that those activists, what do you think that it needs to be done to those activists?
What do you think
Should be done.
should be done to those activists?
No, pues aquí está involucrada mucha gente de muy arriba.
There's a lot of people that is involved in this camp that they have a lot of power. It's a lot of people that they're involved in this camp that they have a lot of power.
A lot of people that they are involved right here. A lot of people with a lot of money right here that they're involved. A lot of people with a lot of power.
Yo aquí corrí uno, ya, no se creía que lo corrí aquí.
One activist,
One activist was right here and he didn't want to go, and I had to kick them out in front of my house.
I kick him out right here, and he didn't even want to leave, but I kick him out.
Aquí estaba en la vuelta.
He was around the block.
No, aquí se querían meter aquí.
He wanted to put a little store. This activist, this American activist, wanted to put a little store in front of my house, and I kick him out, and I said, you know, you can't be here.
He wanted to
Poner
get in
su
here
tiendita.
and put. He wanted to put his store right here in front of my house.
Eran como que unos 6, 7, venían con un reportero y venían.
There were like 6 or 7 reporters. They were American activists that they wanted to put a little store in front of my house. And I told them, no, you cannot do that.
Ese del Mercedes blanco.
There was
And one of them was that guy with the white Mercedes that he's providing the money.
6 or 7 activists that they wanted to put their little store right here, and they were coming with that guy with the white Mercedes, an American activist also.
Los dos policías que estaban aquí
The 2 other policemen that were right here.
venían siguiendo un hondureño.
The 2 policemen, he's talking about different stories. This man has seen so much. The trauma that his family is suffering right now, it is undeniably, it's not repairable. You can see when you're talking to him and his mother, that is an elderly woman, it is such a shame what is happening to them. And the mother, it is always suffering. She is traumatized. The elderly woman, it is traumatized. And right here, he's telling us around another story. The 2 policemen were after a migrant from Honduras.
They were following a guy from Honduras.
Lo agarraron allá en la vuelta.
They grabbed them around the block,
Picked them up around the corner.
Rodearon como 100 personas. No quieren que se lo...
and like around 100 people started surrounding the cops, and they were yelling at them, "Why are you taking him? Why are you taking him?"
Around 100 people surrounded the police car, and they were surrounding him and telling him, "Don't take him," and they release him.
And they release him.
They stopped an immigration bus.
Pararon al derecho.
They stopped one time an immigration bus,
De derechos humanos, una señora que es más o menos bien, que sí hace bien su trabajo.
and there's a lady that she does really good her job of the human rights. She does really good her job of the human rights. There's a lady.
There's some woman that almost, they stop another woman from human rights that she does her job.
Es que estaba sentado en la mera esquina fumando y el otro metiéndose coca y tomando. Y le dice uno de ellos, ¿por qué te lo llevas, miss?
And one day, they were all watching this lady of human rights, and all of us were watching. There was one guy that it was inhaling substances through his nose, and there was another one that it was smoking drugs, and the cop came over there, and he was going to pick them up because they were doing drugs on the street, and immediately everybody started surrounding them and telling the cop, "Why are you taking them?" And it's just like, oh. He's like, what the hell? He's doing drugs. Not even Mexicans do that in the streets like that.
And there was the humanitarian rights woman and other activists. They were telling the police car one time, "Why are you taking those 2 migrants?" And he said they were smoking crack and they were doing drugs in the corner. The humanitarian rights lady says, "Why are you taking them?"
Pues acá de frente, donde está la caseta.
Right here where the police station is at.
Ve que se llena como unos 100, 200 personas, viernes, sábado, domingo, estar drogándose.
Sometimes there in that little police stations, there's around 100 or 200 people that they get there to use drugs inside the police station.
There's 100 or 200 people that they go to the police station, and they're always using drugs right there.
And the police don't do anything?
No, la policía no hace nada.
Ahí están 3
And the police doesn't do anything?
patrullas y le digo, ¿por qué no haces
There
nada?
are 3 police cops right there. Why don't you do
And he says, he goes to the police guys, there's three police officers right there, and he says, why don't you do anything?
anything? He says.
Pero me dice lo mismo, de muy arriba órdenes, no podemos
There's
tocar.
orders
And the police response to him, we're receiving orders from way up there that we cannot touch them.
from really high up that we cannot do anything. We cannot do anything.
Así están tomando, así están drogándose.
They don't care if
They don't care. They cannot do anything. It doesn't even matter if they're drinking, they're using drugs in a public place. They are not going to do anything.
they're drinking, they're smoking, they're doing whatever they do.
Así llegan a matar a una persona.
If they kill someone,
And if they get to the point that they are going to probably hurt somebody or kill a person, they are not going to do anything to him.
they're not going to do anything. We cannot touch them.
They cannot touch them.
Does he feel like they have more rights than he has as a
Cree
Do you feel that they have more rights than you have?
que ellos tienen más derechos que usted, que es un ciudadano tijuanense,
more protection?
y más
And more protection?
No, pues nosotros tenemos más derecho. Pero parece que Tijuana es para los extranjeros y no.
This is so sad. His response is so sad. He says, we have more rights. But now I feel that Tijuana is for the foreigners, not for Tijuana citizens. Wow. His response.
Para los mexicanos.
Wow.
And no, not for the Mexicans.
Well, man. Well, yes, I believe that I have more rights, but I believe that Tijuana is for foreigners, not for Mexicans.
Sí, hay unos reporteros que vienen, otros que son buenos, son buen
There's some reporters that they come and they're really good and they're really nice.
buena onda, por decirlo así.
There's some reporters that they come and they're really good guys.
Está como esa reportera, una reportera grandota que parece es alemana.
There was a reporter that she came. She was really tall. She was a German reporter. She was from Germany, I believe so.
There's a big reporter that I believe that she's German.
Allá de este lado se metió para
Right there on that side.
la sacaron en empujón y uno de ellos nomás la sacó una.
And they were pushing her out. They were pushing her out. With no respect to the woman, they were pushing her out. And one of the leaders, he had a little knife under his belt, and he pulled it out, saying, "Move out."
Una hojita le mostró.
Oh, they told her, they kick her out and they pull out a knife, and the knife they were sticking it on the back of her waist, and they told her to get out.
Está como cuando recién llegaron aquí a la caravana. Tenían una bandera de México y a la mitad de la calle.
It's like when this recent caravan just arrived, we had a Mexican flag right here outside,
There were
and they burned it. They took it and they burned it.
there was when the recent caravan arrived, there was a Mexican flag outside of our house, and they took it and they burned it.
Wow. If you can see that out there. What does, I don't know if you can speak to this, but from President Obama to Joe Biden, has he seen, has this new...
My colleague says from President Obama to Donald, the comparison between Donald Trump and President Biden right now, you as a Mexican, what do you feel? You as a Mexican, this question, it was elaborated, a little bit backwards, but the question inevitably, it turns out to be from President Trump, right, the past administration, to President Biden right now. What is your opinion?
American administration, does he have a feeling about that?
What is your feeling about it?
Or who does he blame for this?
Who do you blame for this?
Culpa de las administraciones de los Estados Unidos. Hablando un poquito de política, desde la administración de Obama se veía esto también que pasaba, y ahorita en la administración,
Not Obama, Trump. Or,
la administración de Trump o
Biden.
la administración de Biden, ¿cuál cree que sea usted la
Look at his
que
response.
haya complicado más las
Look at his response.
Bueno, en algunas cosas el presidente es el que salió. No aprobamos, pero lo que sí aprobamos es que defiende su país.
Oh,
The past president, that it was Donald Trump. A lot of things that he did, we were not approving. But the only thing that we saw that he was doing good is that he was protecting his country.
one of the things that the past president
Wow.
was doing, a lot of the things we were not approving of, but the only thing that we were approving of as Mexicans, that he was defending his country.
Cosa lo que no hace el presidente aquí de esta
A thing that not even the president of Tijuana does and not the current president of the United States do.
That thing that a president right here in our city does not do.
Bueno, está bien pues lo que hizo.
You know, Trump was okay with what he did.
Trump was okay for what he did.
Y el presidente pues está haciendo también lo suyo, pero
This president is trying to do his thing, but
this president that he's
you can see his expressions.
doing, this current president, what he's doing his thing, but he's doing it bad.
no sé, como le dijo el presidente de Estados Unidos, tiene que mover esa gente.
Like the president of the United States said, return back home.
Ahí si no la frontera si la van a estar cerrada.
And the borders are going to be closed.
The president of the United States is saying move those people and the borders are closed.
He says this because he doesn't understand why these people continue to be there. Inevitably, we understand now that it's a business. To keep those people there, it is a way to bring more and more and more. Now, listen to what he says later on how much they're charging per tent. This is amazing because these are American activists or the leaders that they are inside the camp that they're charging per tent now for people to stay there. Wow. This is a place where you're not allowed to be taxing people. But this is exactly what these leaders of these camps are doing.
Pues sí, pues nomás le dicen que se mueven, no se mueven.
They're saying
Yeah, the president is saying move, but the president of the United States, I don't know if I heard that he said move, but they're not moving.
they don't move and they don't move. They don't want to move. They don't want to leave.
Han llegado a movernos la Guardia Nacional y los soldados por la buena si no quieren moverse. Recientemente cuando llegaron algunos
The
ahí,
soldiers have come.
The soldiers have come and they told them, hey, you know what? Move. And they have told them peacefully to move, and they don't want to move.
The National Guard had come.
The National Guard of
They don't
Mexico.
wanna move.
recientemente cuando llegaron, dijeron que se muevan.
Recently, when they came, they told them
Recently, when they came, they told them to move.
to move.
Dijeron, si no nos movemos, bueno, como digo, si no nos dejan pasar allá en los Estados Unidos, aquí va a correr sangre misa.
And they were saying, look at the statements that he says. And the camp was saying, if they don't let us pass through the United States, there's going to be blood shed over here. Wow. This is holy cow. Says the National Guard told them and police officers told them move. But this man is saying that he heard that they were saying if they don't let us pass to the United States, blood is going to be running. Blood will run.
If they don't let us, and they told the National Guard and they told everybody, if they don't let us pass to the United States, there's going to be blood drop right here in this camp.
Ya estamos sentados, estamos mirando lo mismo.
Every day we're sitting down right here.
Every day I'm sitting down right here in front of my house and I'm watching the same.
We're watching the same.
Están los policías, los defienden
There's the
ellos.
police cars, and we are desperate. Nobody's defending us.
And there's the police cars and we're desperate. Nobody's defending us.
Ojalá hubiera podido tomarle la foto esa del Mercedes Blanco para dárselos.
This is just unbelievable, people.
Give, photo of
This is
my
just the
Mercedes
statements of this man. It's just unbelievable,
my phone
and
did.
he's tired of it. When we asked particularly, can we release this? And he said, yes, I want you to. I want you to release it. Please release it. Nobody's putting attention to us. Nobody is listening to us. Please release this.
It's around his height. It's around. He's kind of high, kind of tall. The guy.
the one that is paying off these leaders and the activists is a guy with a white Mercedes, an American.
Las veces que llegan, pues llega con bajos de dinero.
Sometimes he comes with big packages of money.
When he comes with a lot of packages of money, and he drops money right here.
And he drops money right there. He's paying like 1,500 pesos to each and one of the leaders inside the camp.
How much he pays? He pays around 1,500 pesos to each one leader right here.
So the people are asking over here in the neighborhood, how are they getting all this money? How are they, where are they getting all this money to pay these leaders? Every weekend.
We're wondering how they're making money.
And how are they making money? Amazing. This is part 2. It's unbelievable, people. This is just unbelievable. I don't know if you guys are understanding the magnitude of this interview, but it's just, holy cow. Every single thing that is happening, but the left in the United States of America is not saying anything about that. They're pandering to the other situation. Yes, they're suffering, and there's people that might be threatening to open their mouths and to say something. There must be migrants in there that they're possibly suffering fear from what is going on right there. And these leftist activists, or these people that are leading out the camp, they don't care about that. This is the 3rd interview of this. This is the final interview, the final video. And it's just amazing how this interview just, holy, it's just, I don't understand, really, it's just, whew. It's just unbelievable. And I really don't understand, when is this going to stop? All the Tijuana citizens need to know what is going on in that camp. We're going to do this video in Spanish. And hopefully this video, we can deliver it to some other governmental officials or, police departments, that they can understand what is the situation inside that migrant camp. There's shelters where these people can move. But inevitably, they don't want to move them to shelters. Why? Because they know. Ultimately, they know that it's a business right there. Look at this 3rd part.
Every day there's money.
Every day there's money. Every day they come here.
Every day there's money. There's a lot of money.
There's a lot of money.
Does he know where it's coming from? America, the UN, local?
Do you know where it's coming from? The UN, United States of America, local?
¿De dónde viene ese dinero? ¿De Estados Unidos, del campamento?
From a guy that is driving the Mercedes, white Mercedes, a guy that he's a leader right there, that he's dropping money.
Activistas.
And also sponsors.
There's money.
Sponsors. There are a lot of sponsors that are dropping a lot of money.
Those are the ones that are dropping the money.
And when people try to enter the camp, to stay in the camp, they are charging them 350 pesos to enter that camp. Wow. Got people, foreign people, taxing foreigners in a foreign country. Where are the Mexican authorities on this? You got foreign people taxing foreign people in a foreign land. Where is the Mexican authorities on this?
Oh, from right here, if people want to enter right here the camp, they're charging 350 pesos per week.
For the migrants?
Para los migrantes, para las casas de campaña. Oh, yeah,
To the migrants, whoever wants to enter there, whoever wants to sleep on the tent.
The activists are actually charging
migrants.
the migrants to come and set up camp in a place that they don't control,
Yes.
that they've taken over.
Entonces, básicamente los activistas, estas personas están cobrando piso en un lugar donde ellos no controlan a gente migrante. Yes.
So the activists, practically my colleague says, so the activists are what I just said. So these leftist activists and leaders inside the camp, these people that they're from foreign country, they're charging migrants and foreigners in a foreign country. And he says, yes, unbelievable.
Wow. Last thing, because I know you got to do your thing.
Última pregunta.
What would he ask the authorities to do? What would he ask America to do, or what should America know about?
What would you ask the authorities to do, or what would you say to the authorities in the United States of America to do, or the American people to do?
What's happening?
What is his message on this end of the interview?
Gobierno norteamericano que ya deban de hacer acerca de esta situación y también el gobierno de México.
Pues el presidente de Estados Unidos ya habló con el de México.
Well, you know, what we heard is that the president of the United States of America just spoke to the president of Mexico. So they can move those people that they're right there in the camp.
So the president of the United States of America already talked to the Mexican president and told him to move these people.
So meanwhile they're there, the border is going to be closed and businesses are going to be shut down.
In the meantime, that they're not, obeying that, and this is going to be.
And if these people don't move, they're going to be staying there.
It's going to be close.
Imagine if the president of the United States, look what he thinks. That is what is sad, because he doesn't know what we know. But he says, imagine if the president of the United States of America knew the things that they go inside that camp. Do you think that those people are eligible to go in there, to go into the United States? That's what he says.
If imagine all those things that they happen in there, in my mind, do you imagine if the president of the United States wants that in his country? I don't think that he wants that in his country.
Do you know the portable bathrooms that they're there? They were fighting over the portable bathrooms.
They were fighting over the portable bathrooms. They were like 22 portable bathrooms. And all of those bathrooms, the ones that finance those bathrooms is the guy in the white Mercedes.
And every guy that has financed the white bathrooms is the guy in the white Mercedes.
I could not get a picture again, but I know who he is. Pues muchas gracias.
That is the interview. That is the interview. Am I live? Yes. I got frozen there. I got froze there for a minute. What an interview, people. Wow. What an interview. There was a comment right here that said that's Mexico's responsibility. That's Mexico's fault. Can I ask a question to you, to that person that said that comment? Can you take all these American activists to your country? Can you tell Joe Biden to start saying, come over, please? Can you first take that responsibility of your Congress people to accept that this is a border crisis and not a climate crisis and not a capitalist crisis? Can you please do that over there, please? Holy cow. Holy cow. The magnitude of this interview. The magnitude of this interview and the magnitude of the irresponsibility of people saying this is Mexico's problem. Holy cow. That magnitude. Holy cow. Everybody now, this is not nobody else's problem. We don't have nothing to do with it. Amazing. We arrived to the migrant camp on the week to talk to citizens, as we are going to be doing this for quite some time now, until the authorities do something about this. It's not only it's to put order into that camp, and to ultimately also these nonprofit organizations to do something about this. To these nonprofit organizations to be filtered and screened by authorities in Mexico, or what are their intentions and where are they getting all these benefits and all this money, and what are they doing? Who is checking on them? Who's checking them? Who's doing their job to check these people? Who's doing that? It's a lot of money. And it needs to be transparent now. The situation needs to be clarified. This is the most difficult interview that I have encountered, as feeling somebody else's frustration and desperation and anxiety. Feeling all of this. It's just so sad. It is angering. Because imagine if Tijuana citizens, all of Tijuana, knew about this, that it was going on. Híjole. If all Tijuana citizens knew about this was going on, if the Tijuana outlets in mainstream media told the truth about what is going on inside that camp, like it happened in el 5 de Mayo, like it happened in Contraviento y Marea, back in 2018, back in 2019. You guys remember activists, right? You guys remember. You remember. It's amazing. It's just unbelievably amazing. But it's a conspiracy theorist. You're a racist, Oscar Blue. You're a narcissist, Oscar Blue. You're a xenophobe, Oscar Blue. You're full of hatred, Oscar Blue. You're QAnon conspiranoic, Oscar Blue. It's an example of one citizen saying what is going on inside the camp, and all the taxi drivers, all the cab drivers that they are working on that area, every single one of them can tell you what is going on inside that camp. There's no order. That's no migrant situation. Amazing. Amazing. Share this video. God bless everybody that is watching. I will be doing a live feed later on tomorrow to talk about the situation with the police department at war with the organized crime right now in our city, which is another subject that is completely difficult to adapt, because it is so unsafe to be around, places right now in our city. Practically right now, the cartel has declared war on the police department and every police dependency in our city and our state. And it is happening consistently every day. We will talk about that tomorrow. Share this video. If you like this video, click it and share it. Also, subscribe to my channel at YouTube, at Facebook, at Instagram, and also at Rumble and Telegram. You can follow my partner in the same platforms, my partner, Real Anthony Agüero. Also, follow Ben Berquam at Real America's Voice News, and also Will Johnson at Unite America First. God bless you all. Enjoy this video. If you consider this information valuable, there's my PayPal on the bottom. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, peace and love, because always your country's first. May God protect us.